Hey everybody, Cynical Buddha here. I teased on Twitter yesterday that I would do a back issue back issue comic book sale haul from Boscos. Um, Boscos runs, or they used to like back when everything was normal before the pandemic. They used to run an annual back issue sale in August, and the basic premise is that at the beginning, when everything's fresh, books are $4 a piece. Then the next week it drops to two or three, two, one, and then the last week they go to 50 cents, and they have a manager special where you can buy a short box for 50, a long box for 60, which is a pretty good deal because that's like 300 comics or more. Or you could buy three long boxes for 150, and that is a lot of comic books. So this year I opted, and this year they did their comic book sale early, like in May, and then they had a late one here starting in November, ending, and this is the last week. Um, I ended up opting going for a short box for 50 because in the past I had done the long boxes, and I'm just running out of room. And then it just takes a long time to fill up a long box to go through everything in the room. I don't have a picture of it, but um, it's pretty packed. And like by the end though, condition gets to be an issue. But there's some really good gems there. People were pulling out full long boxes and having a good time. And I found a couple sweet little honey holes that helped fill some runs. So I'll give you kind of a tour. So here's the short box. As you can see, it's still pretty full. And then I pulled out, and that's everything else I had stuffed in there. So I had it pretty full. Um, I did my best. I got crap from somebody there once that I did not stuff it full enough, like put it in the cracks. And anyways, but they had a bunch of these Sports Legends memorabilia books there as well, and obviously anything you can stuff in a box. These are cool because they have like baseball cards in them or sports cards that you can kind of cut out. Um, and then in the back there's like some other ones. Bo Jackson. And then I got this one because I collect Rolly Fingers stuff, so the Rolly Fingers in it. And I don't think there's any huge stars in it, but in the back there's some postcards, size ones there with Raleigh. And actually, this one was a national convention, sports card convention program, so it was kind of neat. And then this is an older one, I think. This is from early '90s or '90. Done manually, all baseball, except for Arnold Palmer there. Kind of nice. But I definitely picked up this one because it had a Michael Jordan in the back, which is always nice. So that was the only two like comic book thingies I picked up. So let's go. Let's do the haul. This might be a little bit long, so you might want to fast forward with me. So right off the bat, I picked up a few Iron Man. I'm trying to complete the full Volume 1 run. Obviously, that's a lofty goal. And actually, I had both of these already. But 216 was in really good shape, so it was hard to pass up. And then 250 is just one of my favorite books because it ties back into issue 150, like 100, like almost a decade earlier. And it's part of the Acts of Vengeance storyline. It's just a fun read. And then I picked up an Iron Man I didn't have. And this is from the 2013 run there. And then the other thing I have a hard time doing is, the nice thing is when Boscos picks up collections all year long, and then they take all the good stuff out and obviously sell it at a premium. But there's a lot of chaff left over, I guess you could say. So that's what goes into the back issue sale. And lucky for me, usually they include a lot of runs. So I picked up a bunch of old like 90s Sleepwalkers. Not that I'm trying to put the whole set together, but when you get a good, there's like, eight issues here, 8 issues. And it wasn't that long of a run, and I needed all of them. I use the Comic Book Rum app to keep track of my collection, so I hit it on my phone. I was kind of going back and forth. I found an old Justice League number 3. I already have this, but it was in really good shape until I kind of put a ding in it. But one of the other things I like to pick up are old Valiant runs. I've been trying to complete my Exo Manowar, and they had a bunch of some high numbers. I had a lot of these already. This is one that I didn't actually look up. I just kind of grabbed for filler because I was there for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I had to pick up my son from daycare. So, but lots of early issues too. So. And I did the math, and I think I stuffed, once I got everything cataloged and put in the database, I was able to stuff 209 comics in here. And at $50 for the box, that equals out to, I think, 23 cents a piece. So I thought I got a pretty good deal. I mean, it's always a pretty good deal, especially at the end. But there's the rest of those XOs. And then I got a nice little slug of Darkhawk stuff. Another one of those kind of 90s series I didn't collect, mainly because I was living overseas. And the bookstore on base didn't carry Darkhawk. So, but again, like I needed all these issues, and these are all. And again, like Darkhawk was one of those ones that didn't have a ton, so it's easy to pick up. Obviously, issue number 1 is probably the most valuable, and it's kind of got a cult following on Facebook. It's kind of funny. And then I'm a sucker for annuals when I find them, just because they're a huge slug of reading. And so I found some old Avengers annuals. And, of course, I got to pick up the Evolutionary War because that was one of my favorites in the 80s. And I didn't have any of those, which was nice. And then I picked up some West Coast Adventures annuals. Again, the Evolutionary War and the Terminus Factor. So 88 and 90. And now we're going to get into the box. So the nice thing about the back issue sale, too, is there's a lot of old stuff. And there's actually quite a bit of new stuff. Stuff they made over-ordered to get incentives, or stuff that just didn't sell. There were a ton of these Dark Knight Golden Child one-shots. I picked one up because I didn't have it. And for 20 cents, why not? Because that's like a $5 book, right? $6. So $6, you know. I collect Spider-Woman as well, and I've been collecting the new series. I kind of stopped buying new issues. So picking up some filler for the series, Stranger Things one shot of the Halloween special, some of Kirkman's Die. I picked up the first couple issues of this too, but I found 9, 10, 11 sitting there, so I figured I'd pick those up. Scumbag was another series. I think I picked up the first issue, and then it was interesting. Not enough to continue, but I found 2 through 6 here. And I was like, I'm sorry, 2 through 7. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess for, filling up the box, I will continue. I can put that back on my reading list. And then some old first stuff. So here's like the second issue of Hawkmoon, Jewel in the Skull. And then another Eclipse Villains and Vigilantes, issue 1. It would have been nice to be able to fill out the series, but I could only find a couple issues of each. But I like old Eclipse. That just reminds me of my youth growing up, back when actually that stuff was new. Next up, I found a whole slug of Incredible Hulk. So there was a few from volume 3 or 2 or whatever it is. The one that came after the main run back in the early 2000s, I think. Well, this might be, but issues I didn't have. And then I found some of the original run, the long run anyways. And these are a lot of these were, found a lot of higher number issues, near the end of the run before the Heroes Reborn took over. And then some of the sub 400 stuff. I don't think I found anything that went back all the way to McFarlane, but still fun. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Peter David run, where it just was well thought out and plotted and not so much Hulk smash. But and then here we go. These are the later, near the end. And then I found a couple old Pretty Roached Charlton horror books. I'm a sucker for those too. I like to read them. So these are good reader copies. Again, something to throw into the box. And then found a nice, really good condition issue of An Unknown Soldier. An old King Comics Blondie 12 center in the box. It's not in the... it's obviously got some condition issues, but it's complete. Not too terrible. And, this is from the late 60s. And inside it's got like Beetle Baileys and nice. I figure if you took it up. Star Wars High Republic. An issue of Still the Indestructible Man from the 70s. Number 3. I actually had that one already. Punisher Armory. Some advanced D&D issues. I had... It's just funny because I wanted to read the whole series. And so when I find them, especially in the back issue sale, I pick them up. I found this old Daredevil King Size Special. It is in pretty bad shape. There's lots of rips. Again, but it's complete and it's readable. And for 20 cents, it's like, yeah, it's going in the box. Another Dark Hawk. I found this one in the box. I don't remember putting that in there. I don't collect Cable on the X-Force. Kind of gotten away from the mutants. Only because I'm kind of tired of all the rebooting. Found some old 80s quality Judge Dredd. I'm pretty sure these are all reprints from British comics and stuff. I didn't look it up, but it was a nice run. And, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Another thing is I found a whole slug of Doctor Who, the Ninth Doctor, who was only around for one season. But they had a bunch of like the number 1 variants. Not that they're worth a whole lot. I think they're all pretty common. But I had 2 through 6 here. And then a bunch of like the number 1s. And a couple other variations. So here's a bunch of the number 1s. I think I grabbed 2 the same, like that one. So, next up, I found a small little handful of Batman and the Insider that were in really good shape. So, Batman and the Outsiders, sorry. Some low number 1s. And then, yeah. So, pick those up. And then I found my biggest score was I found a huge thing of Firestorm, and I probably won't go through all of them because I picked up a ton. And I ended up making sure because it's not a set that I had been trying to build, but just through this back issue sale, I've been slowly picking up issues and I'm probably building the set that way for 25 cent bucks. Some of these obviously aren't in the best shape, but I went through my the comic book realm app to make sure I didn't get any doubles. And so these are some great runs. Like here's starting at 39 or 38, 39, 40, 41, some low number stuff and some high number stuff too. Stuff that I got in right at the end of, I remember reading Firestorm back when it first came out, and then getting back in way at the end. So there's a couple annuals that I didn't have. But back when he became the Shaggy Mane Firestorm. But like that. Yeah, like number 85. But I think he was done around issue 100, or maybe they went over 100. But yeah, but just more and more, and then of course some of the first run of when it was called Fury of Firestorm. So that was nice. That was a big slug of books. And then another run I'm trying to finish is my Punisher volume. I guess it's volume 2. It was the ongoing series, though it came out after the miniseries. So I found a nice little selection of Punisher books, and I'm missing a lot of the high number stuff. So I was able to pick up a bunch of those in pretty decent shape. And obviously getting them for a quarter or less is even better. Gotta love filler for a series you're trying to complete. This one's actually got like old preview Marvel cards in it. 80, 79, 68, 60. I mean, you know, like just nice to get some like consecutive issues too that you fill in some big holes. And then number 75, which was nice. The foily embossed issue. And they had, I mean, I thought about picking up a couple of those because they had like 3 or 4 of them, but I just grabbed one. The other thing I've been occasionally trying to get a hold of is old cross-gen stuff, and it pops up a lot more often than you think. And this time I picked up a whole slew of Sojourn. I don't know if you guys remember cross-gen, but they made a big run at it. They got some great talent, some great artists, some great writers. It was all kind of interconnected, but the stories are all kind of very themed. So there's like pirates and samurais and, you know, that sort of thing. So, and, you know, like the art, like this is written by Ron Martz and drawn by Greg Land, you know, it's awesome. So, yeah, I got most of like the early, I can't remember, and some higher number ones near the end. So pretty happy with that pickup. I mean, look at that art. That's awesome. It's great. Whew. You guys still with me? Next up, let's see. A couple of Impulse one-shots. I don't know. I mean, they were just there. They were bagged and boarded and looked like they were in good shape. Another Darkhawk. What's a Darkhawk expert in there? Let's see. Axis, Avengers and X-Men #1. I don't remember reading this. I don't remember when it came out. But it was a $5 book, and there was a bunch of them, so I figured I'd grab it. There's a Marvel Darth Vader's that I needed. Bounty Hunter. Savage Avengers was another series I kind of started and picked up some early issues. And then when I go to the back issues and I find, you know, higher issues for super cheap, I pick them up. Complete my run of that. The new Iron Man, #1 variant edition. I didn't have that variant. I did have a #1, so it's kind of nice to pick up. And then 2 and 3, which I think I already had, but beautiful covers. Beautiful covers. Let's see, what else? We're almost done. We're almost through the box. I picked up 3 issues of Modek Head Games because they were there. And I was like, oh, that looks like a fun read. I picked up, or I found, a few issues of Dreadstar and Company, early Marvel, like 2, 3, and 6, in pretty decent shape. So I picked those up because I have a bunch of the, was it First, I think, ended up publishing it after a while. I also picked up a slug of Marvel Comics Presents. Unfortunately, the really valuable comics in the run, the Weapon X series, weren't in it, but I kind of hit around it. And there were a lot of great Sam Keith covers, and I love Sam Keith art. I just think, you know, he's kind of, you know, a little bit different. So some people love him, some people hate him. And the best is, you know, these are like flip books. This was Marvel's anthology. I kind of kept up with when they turned Action Comics into an anthology series in the 80s for 100 issues or so, or whatever it was. But a lot of high number stuff. Not a lot. A few high numbers and a few like mid numbers here. But I did look these up and I made sure I needed all of them, which was nice. So here's some 90s, some 60s. It was great because these had great little supplemental stories with, you know, Wolverine and Ghost Rider, and then you get some kind of wacky, you know, off the wall, you know, team ups and characters maybe that didn't have an ongoing series, but somebody wanted to write a story. Let's wrap around cover there. Union Jack, you know. but there definitely was a lot of Wolverine. I think he was in it all the time almost. And Wolverine was obviously super popular at the time. So, all right, and last but certainly not least, there were a ton of Richie Rich and Archie stuff there. There was also a lot of Conan. If you guys were into Conan the Barbarian, there were a lot of the old Marvel run, the Saga, the King Conan, and then man, there were just a ton of the magazines of the set like Savage Sword and the Conan Saga stuff. You got to fill up a whole long box with all that Conan. And I liked Conan. I'm not a big Conan collector, and honestly, there's just not a lot of value in it. It's everywhere, easy to find. But I do have a lot of Richie Riches from my youth. And so I didn't pick up a ton. Although I was thinking about picking up anything that looked like it was in decent shape, because Richie Riches in good shape are hard to find. And this one's got a few little spine ticks, but pretty good. I picked up all the Vault of Mysteries I could find, because it's a run I'm trying to complete. Richie Rich at one time probably was the character that had the most individual titles out. Like Harvey was putting out 10 or 12 different Richie Rich books. Pretty crazy. All these are not, these are all I think, probably late 70s, early 80s. Let's see. Yeah, 81. So, nothing spectacular. That was kind of roach. This one's got some condition issues too, but I figured that would be the one Richie Rich I would grab with these Vault of Mysteries. And there you go. Nothing spectacular, nothing super. I didn't find any. I remember one year I found an Iron Man that was the first appearance of the Hulkbuster armor, which was like a $20 book at the time, or $30 or whatever, because of the movie, and that was nice. And there are definitely little gems to be found. I know I've talked to people that have gone in early and bought when the prices are higher, and they find stuff in the rough all the time. But this year, pretty good. Could I have filled up a long box? Probably, if I'd have stayed there another 2 hours. Maybe not. Although I think I did pretty good with my little short box and everything coming out to under 25 cents a piece. I'm pretty happy with my haul. I'm pretty happy with the runs I got to fill. I will put Boscos information in the description below. If you guys are ever in Anchorage, I highly recommend you show up. They've got a great store. They actually renovated an old car wash or gas station about 6 or 7 years ago and moved into it. And the great thing, the renovation was purpose built. So they've got like a sports card room, a gaming room, a comics room, and a big events room where they hold tournaments and all sorts of good stuff. As things get back to normal. They used to do little card shows and trade nights and all sorts of good stuff. But highly recommended. They've been. I've been up here in Alaska for over 22 years now, and they've been here the whole time. And it's my go-to. They're great. Great to work with. Great to hang out. Great. Just all around a great comic book store. Pretty lucky they have one up here. Anyways, thanks everybody if you hung out for the whole time. It's one of my longer videos. But thanks for watching my haul. Leave a like and subscribe if you want, and I'd love a comment. How do you think I did? And yeah, thanks and bye.